money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I'd like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure. And think you wanna dribble dribble, you know, riding in my Fiat, you really have to see it.
Hello. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Welcome once again to Dork Duck Daily. I would like to say that there's a bed right there, and everybody was in it and completely asleep at 8:51, and it is 9:03 a.m. and I am here talking into a microphone. I'm pretty impressed with myself. We did it. We did the thing. It is 9:03. I had to run the ads. If I could have just not run the ads at all, you know, I would have hit even 9 a.m. But good morning, Snoopy. Congrats on first. Thank you so much for the resub. I appreciate it. I had to resub to get rid of those ads. Yeah. 13 months. So long. That's almost as long as 38 years, which is what I'm going to be this week on April 16th. So tomorrow night we are doing a Twitch stream, a happy birthday celebration. So make sure y'all hang out for those fun shenanigans. Yeah, it's Monday. We made it to another week, everyone. My mouth is like finally starting to feel somewhat mildly kind of okay, despite the fact that I spend most of my life doing this, talking into microphones, you know? Cameras? No, it is not. Okay. We'll fix that. I also finally figured out, you know, we're doing Whatnot shows again. Been doing those on on Saturday nights. So we're doing 2 live comic sale shows a week now. And then yesterday, buddy was like, "Hey, can you guest co-host on my live comic sale show?" And sure, why not? Why not? I'll do all the shows. It's fine. And so that was my Sunday was doing that, and I still haven't made a snazzy little graphic for the big birthday stream tomorrow night. You know what I have gotten done though? Some YouTube editing again finally. And started getting The Last of Us Part 2 up on YouTube. It's almost like my procrastination sometimes pays off. Hey, people are talking about that Last of Us right now. Maybe Jeffrey, we get off our ass and we get some YouTube videos edited, since you have a bunch of Last of Us content that still needs to go up. And so that was my day yesterday. I also played a bunch of South of Midnight. Which when I was hanging out in Sam's stream yesterday, I said, like, man, I like everything in that game but the controls. And so I just really don't know how to feel about it, especially because when I went to just poke around to see like if other people were having the same complaint about the controls, because the controls felt a little floaty to me. Felt a little like Fortnite-y, for lack of a better word. I described it as that, where the character felt kind of just like real. The way that a character in Fortnite, when you move the controller and they're just like it did that. I don't know how else to explain it. Almost like weightless. And I was feeling that about the game South of Midnight. And I was like, I don't know, should I keep playing it? It was real early. And so I just went to even look online to see if other people had that complaint, to see if, because sometimes in games you'd be like, man, this aspect of this game is really weird, and then you poke on and you'll find someone going like, yeah, it is, which is why I hit this button, and or change the setting, and then the rest of the game's fine. So I expected to find that. Just gotta grab some food, coffee over here for real in a minute. Good to see you, man. Good morning. Get the food, get the coffee. Settle in. But I expected to go online and see a normal discussion of a video game, not realizing that this was a game with a young black woman protagonist moving through the bayou. It's this cool magical realism fantasy thing, right? I expected normal discourse, and I should have known. It's the internet. Like, I don't know what I expected. And it was bad. It's so bad. It's wild how bad the discourse is about that game, and how there are just it's the Ghostbusters thing, where it's like I couldn't find anyone like honestly discussing the game, because all you could find is just like either just these dudes that for some reason are like, for the worst piece of woke trash. Can you believe like she has ghosts, and those ghosts that she like meets and talks to of her ancestors are slaves? Like, yeah, bud. What else would they be? I don't understand why. Like, it's okay if a game's not made. It was so wild, but then the reverse is true too, where it's like, because it's like I said, I compared it to Ghostbusters, where that energy means that like no one can like be like, this game's okay, I guess. Like, no one can have that take. Your take has to be like, because all these men are rooting for it to like it has to be like, oh my god, it's the greatest game. Like, there's no way to have any actual discourse on it because the internet is broken. That said, I switched controllers, which I didn't even know was a thing that could. I just like switched to a different Xbox controller because I started to have issues with like there was stuff that you had to like hit like the right analog. You had to like do the press in on the right analog to lock on to an enemy, and that controller, it just wasn't working for some reason. So I switched to a different controller just to be like, well, I don't know, I need to be able to lock on to enemies. And that Fortnite-y feeling that I was having with it went away completely. So it wasn't that. I think it was that, though, in a combination, though, of like there's so much like versatility movement in that game with like different spells and stuff you get, and that you don't have them at the start of it. It's the only thing I can compare it to is if you put Spider-Man in your PS5 and you're like, cool, I'm going to play the Spider-Man game. And then at the start of the game, they were like, all right, we haven't taught you how to we haven't given you the ability to web swing yet or arm crawl. So you were just Spider-Man, but you're Spider-Man walking on the ground, and you're like a character that was designed to do all those things, but like it would feel weird. And it did. It did. Now that I'm like in the game proper, like that stuff's gone away. It's a pretty good. The problem is the gameplay of that game is like, now that stuff's sorted, it's not bad. It just is. It's fine. The gameplay is fine. It is not within itself like very compelling. But the world building and the story stuff in that game is so good. Snoopy says, am I allowed to have a take that I wasn't a big fan of the new girl Ghostbusters? I bought it. I was excited for it. It was just okay. Yeah, that movie's not good. At the time, though, it was rough because it was like you weren't allowed seemingly to have that take. At the time, it was one of those things where there were so many people that were on the side of like, it's bad because it has women in it, which meant that like when you went to the theaters and watched it and we were like, that wasn't very good, and you're like, that wasn't very good, and they're like, oh, so you're with those people, and I was like, no, it's just not a good movie. It's also a fundamental like misunderstanding of what made Ghostbusters. You know, it was a small business comedy about schlubs running a small business and making smart aleck jokes, and then that was where all the tension and the comedy and the stuff came from, and then it just happened to go supernatural and have that as like sprinkling stuff in. And just that, I'm still mad that when you have that whole, if you're gonna do more Ghostbusters, which I don't think you should, I don't think the best sequel to Ghostbusters is Men in Black, and then they can't make a good Men in Black sequel to save their lives either. But if you have to do more Ghostbusters, like around the time of when all those Judd Apatow movies were happening with thinking like you think of like all the dudes that were in Knocked Up, and 40-Year-Old Virgin and all that stuff. If you would have handed it to Judd Apatow and been like, Judd Apatow, I want you to make a I want you to make a Ghostbusters movie, and he's like, I don't care about any of this like ghost stuff. That perfect. And you had like Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill, the Ghostbuster, like that movie would have ruled. And you could do that with women too. It's just the movie itself was not good. He says Boppy and quick to say hi, good morning. To say Snoopy kid disliked the Ghostbusters movie as long as it's not because they were women. Chris Hemsworth was spacey. LMAO. Yeah. I liked Chris Hemsworth in that movie for like the first like 5 minutes of that bit, and then that movie is that bit for like. That's the other thing is like they don't, even when they have good bits in that movie, they just don't let them go to the point you're like, oh my gosh, guys. No, it was funny that he was hot and dumb. You got to do more with it. Sam's back. Good morning, Sam. But all that to say, South of Midnight was playing a pretty good bit of it yesterday. I was having a good time. I wish the gameplay part of it was a little more of a draw. But there is 0 video games set in the bayou and in magical realism, and that aspect of the game fucking rules. It definitely feels like a game made by a corporation at times. And so like a lot of like her dialogue and a lot of, like I said, the gameplay is like not the super, like a lot of that stuff feels very when the game isn't being like the coolest fuck, like genre bending magical realism thing. When it's being that, it is like so cool, and I just want to like do nothing but play that game. But some of her like especially ambient dialogue where you can feel like a corporation be like, I feel like the gamer's gonna need to understand that she's this is weird to her. Can we record some dialogue of that? And that especially at the start of the game, where like her fucking house is in the water going down the road. And she's just like what a weird day this is. Like she just has like this like very corporate feeling ambient dialogue that if I could turn that off, it would increase my enjoyment of the game tenfold. It's a neat game though, and it's on fucking Game Pass. Like watching Microsoft make that play for Game Pass, and watching gamers just say no. Watching Microsoft go like, you know what? We're gonna give you every single game we have high level access to. It's gonna be $15 a month, and knowing in my head that like, oh, once Xbox wins everyone over with this, Microsoft's gonna screw everyone over and jack up the price. They're gonna like get this complete monopoly by offering this insane thing to be able to like I didn't have to pull my wallet out to play South of Midnight. It was there, and I was like, cool. Already built into the rotating budget of things, right? And that whole industry is based on like, you want to play the new thing when it comes out. And watching them do that model and just doing the good side of it, and then not be able to get enough people in the ecosystem to like flip the switch into evil on the other side, it's been wild. On this hand, though, I've enjoyed Game Pass. I can't imagine it's going to be sticking around. But like, man, It's it reminds me of when I used to have Movie Pass. You ever remember Movie Pass? That was another thing where it was like, if you got it, you only got to experience the good bits of it. Because that whole thing where they like were then gonna flip the switch later on, they never got there. And for $10 a month, I got to see a movie a day in movie theaters, and it was great. And then it disappeared because they were too good at that initial stuff. The initial like, hey, let's make this as enticing as possible. Let's get a bunch of people in the tent so that we can, jack up the price later and sell everyone's information later. And they didn't make it that far. It's interesting, the Game Pass thing. It's not sustainable. There is no possible way that can continue for $15 a month, and that they can offer titles at this level at $15 a month. But it's cool. I very much like the idea. And it's been so cool to have just a buffet of gaming this generation. And they were close to like pushing the market that way too. The whole PlayStation Plus catalog thing, which exists, that exists just because of Game Pass. Game Pass at least pushed the market such that like Sony had to look at it and go like, Nintendo kind of has one with their retro games, and look at what Xbox is crazy. They're putting their brand new games on it. We need something. And now you get like one of my favorite things is watching Spike on his channel desperately trying to beat a game before it leaves that PlayStation catalog, and that thing only exists because Microsoft pushed the market. Now they didn't push it very far because Sony was like, we're not putting new games on there. We're just not. Sam says unrelated, but I thought you would get a chuckle out of this. I'm editing the first stream of 2023, and Ellis came in saying, will this be the Final Fantasy year? And it was indeed not. Yeah, I'm excited to play more 2 today. I like 2 a lot. I have on the way to my house a Famicom cartridge for Final Fantasy 3 for the Famicom. I don't know. It's my birthday this week, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, that's my toxic trait of just like, I should buy this Famicom cartridge. That I'm just like, you know what? I will. Do you have anything that plays Famicom carts? I don't. But it'll look cool sitting somewhere. It's not like I can play it anyways. It's that game is not in English. I suppose I could just play it in Japanese, but so about the Retron 5, okay. But the game's not in English, or can the Retron somehow run a fan translation too? Games not being in English never stopped me. That's true. I mean, my version of Final Fantasy 2 that I'm playing is barely in English. But yeah, it's my birthday this week. Tomorrow night we are doing a birthday stream from like 8 to midnight. It won't be midnight. It won't be my birthday at the start of it, but by the end of the stream, it'll be my birthday. Sam says you can technically apply a translation patch to the ROMs. It's pretty neat. You load it on an SD card. That's cool. Maybe I'll have to look into that before we we get going with 3, seeing as I have a copy of it on the way. Because I have a problem. Hey, we don't just we don't just talk about my purchasing addictions on this show. We also cover all the news you nerd. And the whole segment we like to call the Daily Quack. Now, try that again. For some reason the macro that stopped that from happening wasn't working. Sam says, like the patch file, and you put the card in, and you go into the settings and say for this specific game, apply this patch file on the SD card, and theoretically that works. My SD card was too big and messing it up when I tried. Oh, I have some old ones floating around, so maybe that's neat though. I actually will look into that because that would be very cool. Let's go with Nintendo gets popular VTuber stream delisted because she maybe played a hacked Pokemon cartridge. This is from Ian Walker over at Polygon. I need to pop out my chat if I can read what this says and still be able to see when people say things. Boom. Boom. I don't remember. How much are Retron 5s? $180? This like purpley thing, right? This is what you're talking about? This guy? Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Super SNES, NES, Super Famicom, Genesis, Mega Drive, Master System. They're different covers, but yes. Mine is black and purple. Are these controllers any good that it's coming with? It's got like a fake NES controller. And then what is it, HDMI out? God damn it, Sam. The idea that I could just like hit a few buttons, load something on an SD card, and play this actual cart that's coming for my Final Fantasy streams for the next game, like, is enough to maybe push me in that direction. Not that I have $180 to spend, but Sam says their default controller's ass. Looks like they include a NES clone to make up for that. HDMI out. Are their controllers just USB? Can I plug in a USB controller in? Or we are entirely derailed right now. Show me the controller ports. Looks like you almost can plug original controllers in. No USB controllers? Okay. Sam says you have NES, SNES, or Genesis controllers. You can use them. Okay, gotcha. It's like I have more USB versions of those things these days than I have the originals. Because you can use the USB ones with the Switch. So, yeah. That would make a lot of things, like, because then I could just get carts for the rest of the Final Fantasy games too. Which would be cool, except for 5. But I could do the thing with 5 too. Oh, that's tempting. All right. Sam says this console I streamed A Link to the Past, Aladdin, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong. Well, yeah, and I have a lot of carts already, and I like purchasing them. And I had the entertainment. Not that long ago, I was the guy who had the entertainment center with all the different slots, with all the different consoles, and they were all daisy chained into one TV at the same time. And it was I did it so I could do it, and it was dumb. It was dumb. I mean, it was cool, but like, I don't know that I'll ever get back to there. But I want to buy the carts, and I usually will have like this world where like whenever I'm like, oh fuck, where's the PS2, and I'm trying to find the PS2 whenever I need the PS2 for something is not a good world either. And I still don't know where my fucking PS2 went to. It's just gone. As I was just saying, you have plenty of examples how it runs for stream. Yeah, it's perfect for streaming stuff. Because you're not like hauling in and out different systems. You just got one. It could sit like right here and be plugged in like all the time. Be like, all right, let's go. Nintendo gets popular VTuber stream delisted because she maybe played a hacked Pokemon cartridge. This is from Ian Walker at Polygon. Shiki's returned. Hello, Shiki. Usada Pecora is one of the biggest VTubers in the world. But even she can't withstand the might of Nintendo. According to a report from Automaton, Nintendo recently contacted Cover Corporation, owner of the VTuber talent agency Hololive Japan, over concerns Pecora may have used a hacked Pokemon Emerald cartridge during a May 29th broadcast, as modifying video game saves can be a serious crime in Japan, and Nintendo's streaming guidelines reserve the company's right to object to any content that we believe is unlawful. Cover decided the best course of action would be to take down the stream archive and issue an apology on April 9th. Shiki said, I've returned. She may have. This is all news to me too. This is all weird. Sam said, I can't wait for this to be turned into VTuber hate again. Yeah. What was it? What was the pejorative for people like me that would start being thrown around? Flesh tubers? Was that what it was? Someone has a bias against flesh tubers. Or for flesh tubers or something. If a flesh tuber did this, that was, flesh tubers. That was insane. That thing where like you like accidentally step into a whole culture and discourse that you're like, what the fuck is down there? Like when you're like walking in a building and you like accidentally step to the floor, and that's already scary, but then just like there's this whole like sub culture and ecosystem underneath there that you're like, ah! Shiki said, every time I forget about that fucking word one of you says. Okay, but what the hell happened? I can almost hear you all asking your computer screen. Let's get into it. The offending broadcast involved Pecora buying and investigating a bunch of used Pokemon Emerald cartridges in the hopes of finding one that contained a super rare item, known as the Old Sea Map. The item, which provides access to a special area of the game wherein the player can track down and catch Mew, was distributed in 2005 at a handful of live events throughout Japan, and as a gift for purchasing a ticket to the movie Lucario and the Mystery of Mew in Taiwan. During the stream, Pecora kept a running tally of the number of carts she checked, and wouldn't you know it, the save on number 22 had an Old Sea Map in its inventory. There's a clip here, and it says apologies in advance for the screaming, so we're going to turn our desktop audio way down. That's a nuts.com ad. That's not even helpful at all. Okay. That's I can't. I'm done already. Call me a flesh tuber prefer whatever you gotta say. No thank you. That was my ears hurt. Someone attended an event in Japan 20 years ago, got the old sea map for some. You didn't miss it. It's just I was playing there we go. The link, the video of her finding Mew, and it's very she's screaming and it was awful. Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. Why? Dave said this is why I only watch streams with a compressor. It's just I also just don't understand. She's just saying Mew over it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not out here to yuck anyone's yums. Fine. If that is your idea of a good time. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Shiki. This is Mew is exciting, Jeff. I get that. Shiki says, I understand people get excited, but this is the kind of content that's not for Shiki. It's all the kind of content that's not for me, and it's the thing that I try to stop my kids from watching, but they struggle with, but because their little brains are wired for that, and I'm just someone who reacts and acts like that all the time. That there's no base level. That's no. I struggle to see any kind of reality there, but then again, you're also it's fine. It's fine. Sam says he's cute and does everything or something. I don't really Pokemon, and I don't think I ever had a Mew. I don't have the energy to be that hype for that long. Shiki says Mew is absolutely adorable. I like Mew, but that's just, it's performative. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. How do you not just fall asleep after that? Yeah. Someone attended an event in Japan 20 years ago, got the old sea map, and for some reason never used it to acquire Mew. And Pecora was lucky enough to find this mystery person's copy of Pokemon Emerald without having to dig through hundreds of cartridges. Pecora's fans saw this merely as a stroke of luck, but others pointed out how odd it was. All of these unlikely events managed to line up for a perfect stream moment. Her supposed outside good fortune, combined with some apparent irregularities in the item's in-game text, led some viewers to believe the old sea map may have been hacked into the game rather than obtained legitimately. Pecora addressed the growing controversy on April 3rd. She explained the situation to viewers as a gray zone and announced she wasn't going to continue her hunt for a shiny Mew, which after finding the old sea map was the ultimate goal for her Pokemon Emerald streams. And sorry. Okay, you're good to go. Okay, you're good to go. It's everything I need for my golf simulator. Or about the shiny Mew. I'm sorry, but the conclusion is it's a gray zone. Okay, so it sounds like she's taking the opinion of oh yeah, seems like I accidentally maybe got a augmented ROM. Controversy, yeah. There's suspicions that the ROM has been modified, Pecora said in a video. Pecora doesn't want to do it. If it's fake too, I won't do it. So I put the Mew stream on pause. Who is right? I don't know anymore. It's honestly too suspicious. So I don't know. I think you do. I think it's fine. Oh yeah, I had no idea. It's all their fault. Yeah. Civ says, I get Nintendo's within their legal right, but can we take a step back and have a laugh about their top visit suits basically trying to sue a goddamn cartoon? Yeah. Yeah. Also, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm gonna be like, as someone who grew up watching things like fucking wrestling and other things that are like, the world used to have an inherent whimsy to it, and an inherent like I don't know. It's like there was part of entertainment that it was like, hey, I kind of want to be tricked a little bit, and it's fine. That's you know. Yeah. She stashed it. She checked 21 cartridges, knowing that the 22nd one was going to be the gimmicked one. It's entertainment. She's putting on a show. It's fine. I don't know that Nintendo needs to get involved in this. I'm really sorry. I won't be catching Mew anymore. In its apology letter, Cover promised to be more cautious as well as educate staff and talent to prevent a similar occurrence in the future. Neither Cover nor Nintendo have confirmed whether or not the cartridge was actually hacked. She said, will they make her sit next to a picture of her VTuber in court? Will she have to just show up digitally? How does this work? Sam said, also in the streamer's defense, you can try playing on OG hardware and still accidentally get repros, and you have no idea if those are modded ROMs or not. So there is actually a possibility this was an accident. Yeah. Pokemon notoriously has the most realistic repros. Especially, it's very possible if you're like, hey, we're going to play through so many cartridges trying to find one with it on there. The chance of you hitting a repro is actually much higher than the average person, because at the end of the day, you're buying every single copy you see out there under a certain price point, right? You're just like, what's our budget for this? This much? Okay, let's buy all these cartridges. Or you're taking them in on loan, in which case, yeah, you're just like, oh, whatever comes in. She says, Nintendo think that the real world is actually reality TV. Dave says, I mean, realistically, they are suing her agency / parent company. Yeah, I think that's why this suit happened, is that there's a little bit easier of a path of just like, oh, she's got a parent company, we can go with that. That sure is a story, though. So is this one, though. Human teeth grown in a lab for the first time by scientists. This is from Emily Smith at The Independent. The scientists have successfully grown human teeth in a lab for the first time, according to a new study. Researchers at King's College London say the breakthrough could lead to patients regrowing lost teeth. Well, there we go. Got my face covered. Sam, Cheeky said, yeah, that's very true. You never know. I just feel like the goal is always objectify, protect to avoid culpability. I also think this is ridiculous, and they should just give them a warning and watch for future issues. Yeah. Yeah. And also just like, I remember when they were like clearing steroids out of like baseball and like racing and like all of these things, and then there is like some brew about them doing it and like wrestling, and like the government like started to dip their toes in a little bit, and then people collectively were like, that's a different thing. It's not an open competition at that point. It's not even really trying to be a fair competition. So like, a very different thing. Sam said about the teeth. Is it real or is it dire wolfant again? Teethant. Some say dentures and Q. She says, interesting. Wait, did we prove the dire wolves weren't actually bred? Or are we talking about not real because hybrid? Not real because hybrid, but that's also the plot of Jurassic Park. The dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, both the book and the movie, and especially the movie and especially the shitty later movies, like the dinosaurs they're making are close approximations. They are not actual, like if you went and grabbed a time machine and grabbed that thing and brought it forward. It's that people can't tell the difference. But on a genetic level, in the both those movies and the book, they talk about that they're like the exact same thing with the direwolf. It was like, this is not the exact thing. But then when they did that, they did the magic of Jurassic Park with the direwolf, and everyone's like, it's not real. Sam says they're a gray wolf with modified genetics, but it's not the exact species. Yeah, but that's the Jurassic Park thing. Cheeky said that's why I put in quotes, like they're still made them versus not actually made them. Sam said, and dumbasses are using an excuse to remove the endangered species list because we can bring anything back now. It's infuriating how we get new tech and people are just immediately shitty. Yeah, that is very frustrating. The team developed a material that mimics the environment needed for a tooth development, allowing cells to send signals and begin forming a tooth. Dr. Anna Angelova Volponi, director of regenerative dentistry at King's College London, said the research had the possibility to revolutionize dental care. The study says some animals like sharks and elephants have the ability to grow new teeth, but humans only have one set from adulthood. The ability to regenerate teeth would therefore be a major leap forward for dentistry, researchers suggest. Unlike implants and fillings, which are fixed and cannot adapt over time, the study outlines how a lab-grown tooth made from a patient's own cells could integrate into the jaw and repair itself like a natural tooth. The research, in collaboration with Imperial College London, has been more than a decade in the making. Zuchen Zhang, a researcher at the Faculty of Dentistry, Oral, and Craniofacial Sciences, said fillings aren't the best solution for repairing teeth. Over time, they will weaken tooth structure, have a limited lifespan, and can lead to further decay or sensitivity. Implants require invasive surgery and a good combination of implants and alveolar bone. Both solutions are artificial and don't fully restore natural tooth function, potentially leading to long-term complications. Lab-grown teeth would naturally regenerate, integrating into the jaw as real teeth. They would be stronger, longer-lasting, and free from rejection risks, offering a more durable and biologically compatible solution than filings or implants. Yes, but people like Shiki or myself are going to take this and run with this and write about the first patients that get these teeth and they like never stop growing or something. They just like grow out their face. Sam says they're trying to undo years of conservation efforts because we have de-extinct technology now that's extremely promising. I hate everything sometimes. Previous efforts to recreate this process in the lab have failed as the cells were unable to communicate effectively. Researchers are now exploring two possible approaches: growing a whole tooth in the lab before implanting it, or placing early stage tooth cells directly in the patient's jaw where they could continue developing. Mr. Zhang added, "We have different ideas to put the teeth inside the mouth. We could transplant the young tooth cells at the location of the missing tooth and let them grow inside the mouth. Alternatively, we could create the whole tooth in the lab before placing it in the patient's mouth. For both options, we need to start very early tooth development process in the lab. Dr. Angelova Volponi added, as the field progresses, the integration of such innovative technologies holds the potential to revolutionize dental care, offering sustainable and effective solutions for tooth repair and regeneration. Shiki says, yeah, I'm going to need you to get the fuck out of my head. Sorry. That's what the filter in our brain does, though. It's just like, oh, we can see how this would go colossally wrong in like the worst kind of horror way. And now for a story that will make Sam angry. Microsoft shortchanges Indiana Jones PS5 by only putting 20 gigabytes on the Blu-ray. Physical copies won't work without a download. This is from Sammy Barker at Push Square. Shiki says, I was like, OMG, how cool would it be to tell a story about someone getting the teeth and they keep falling out? Maybe they think it's a dream, but they learn at some point it's not. Where my head immediately went to just like, they're gonna try to grow these in people's mouths, and what if they get the thing wrong that like stops it from growing? The thing that just like naturally occurs for us, where it like grows or what if all the teeth start? What if like by stimulating that tooth, the rest of the teeth start growing? Like they're fucking with shit that like, yeah. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle takes a whopping 125 gigabytes of PS5 SSD storage space. So squeezing it onto a single Blu-ray was never going to happen. Disc for Sony system can hold up to 100 gigabytes, and some developers have worked around these limitations by shipping their software onto discs. She says, just because we can't doesn't mean we should. Yes, thank you, Dr. Ian Malcolm. Microsoft and Bethesda have taken the worst route possible for Indy's PS5 port, however, shipping a single disc with just 20 gigabytes of data on it. A YouTube video which shows the unboxing process confirms an internet connection is required to run the release, and if you insert the disc while offline, you won't be able to play a single second of gameplay. You'll simply be told to connect to the web to download the rest of the game. This obviously raises a very legitimate preservation concerns, as should any of Sony's servers ever be disabled in the future, your game will become useless. Obviously, that's extremely unlikely to occur in the near future, but behavior like this does render the entire purchase of physical media pointless. What we don't understand is why more of the game couldn't have been included on the disc. There's no reason for the release to require 100 gigabytes in download when almost all of the game could have still fit on a single Blu-ray. Yeah, that's crazy. What's on there? I wonder if the 20 is like the thing where it's like, hey, it's downloaded enough that you can start it. Tim says, as a preservationist, it is not extremely unlikely. These companies have shut down so many store servers within a decade of existing. Yeah, they were saying it was unlikely in the very short term. Or Sammy Baker was of Push Square. Is that in the short term, you're not going to have to worry about that. But like, that's so silly. Also, it's just, guys, it's not a great game. It's fine. It's a fine. It is the most okayest game that you asked a first person shooter developer to make an Indiana Jones game, and they made a first-person Indiana Jones game that is like from a design level from the jump. Not great conceptually. It should have been an Uncharted clone. It's so simple. No one wants to play an Indiana Jones game in first person. So silly. The game's fine, and Troy Baker does it as a really good Harrison Ford, and like the beats of that game, like all the cinemas and stuff, those are all really good. Shiki says this was absolutely on purpose. It's a test run to see that people will still buy it before they go completely digital. If people are willing to download 75% of the game, they'll surely download 100% of it, and then they can yank the game whenever they want. My assumption is that it's lazier than that. I think the 20 gig represents that, like, when you're downloading a game, at a certain point you can play it, but it's like you could just play the tutorial or something while the rest of it's downloading. I think they went with that. I think they couldn't fit it all on one disc. And they were like, should we do 2 discs? And they're like, no, they can download the rest. And they realized they would have to pay someone to break up the files unless they just did that 20 on there. So I'm guessing that's what's on there, would be my guess. But I don't really know. I don't really know for sure. Sam said we are also facing issues of early 2000 to 2010 PC games no longer working because their DRM verification servers died. There's so many examples of relying on company servers being bad for gaming. Yeah. Shiki said like Overwatch. I don't know which rant of mine Overwatch was referencing, but sure. Was it? Overwatch had a disc, if that's what we're talking about. Or are we talking about how Overwatch is in first person, but it's like character based? Because that never made any sense to me either. Sam said, if you don't want this for gaming, all you really do is not buy into it. Companies will use the compliance as an okay to move forward with it, further fucking over consumers. Hence me being done with modern gaming. I don't think it's a laziness thing. Big corps are really smart when it comes to money. These past 2 generations have had a swath of games that are like unplayable from the disc, basically, because they'll often ship them very buggy, and then with the hopes that they can run a day one patch, right? There is a lot of PS4 and PS5 collecting to be done. But it's all of the like Game of the Year editions and stuff. If you can find those discs, but it takes a level of research of like you have to know that you're getting a disc that has all of the DLC and all of the patches baked into it. She says, no, I mean, they pulled the game. You can't play it anymore. They released Overwatch 2, and Overwatch 1 is just a paperweight at this point. Yeah. Sam said Overwatch 1 is completely gone, or the crew situation. Yeah. I guess I didn't Overwatch 1 just turn into Overwatch 2? I thought, but I guess I was wrong if they just like completely, which sucks because it was like, I could see a world where I'm like, I'll go play some Overwatch. No, there are different games. That fucking sucks. That's so stupid. But I weirdly get how it would make sense to like a corporate person who's like, we just spent all this money on this new game and they're still just playing the old one. Like, shut the old one down. Yeah, that's really silly. Everything about this is really silly, especially because there are not very many people who do physical media these days. There's not a lot of us, right? There are more than they pretend, but we are not the majority of gamers. Those that do physical media, I said do. Those that do physical media, the reasons are either game preservation of like, I want a thing, I want a physical thing that I know that I completely own, that I can put in the disc into the thing or the cartridge into the thing, and I can play the thing. That if the whole world ended tomorrow and all these servers went down, if I could make sure I still got electricity to my house, I could play all these games. Right? That's one end of the small pool of people that still prefer physical media. The other end of it is people that are like, I still live a place where there's not a good internet connection. And I purchased discs for the PS5 because I don't have reliable internet to be able to install an 120 gigabyte game. Because I live out somewhere where just like in our infrastructure for internet here in this country is terrible. And there are a lot of people that live that way, that are that need these discs. And so this is a disc that serves neither of those groups. Sam says, yeah, companies do not want you to own your games because they want to keep you having to buy new stuff each generation. This is really bad place for gaming, and I don't think it's just lazy. It can be both. You can be lazy and evil, and you can be evil by being lazy. It can all happen in one go. Like our friend Donald Trump. Does a lot of golfing. The fact that he's out golfing, but he should theoretically be like doing one of the most important jobs in the world, is both lazy and evil. Cheeky says, and when 2 was released, it was not free, so they shut down the first game and just basically made you pay for the other. That's bullshit. Sam said, how do we get sponsored by GOG? Yeah, we talk about them a lot, but GOG rules as their whole thing is just like, yeah, no DRM whatsoever. Let's go. Sam says, yeah, the coasts are really forgetful that the middle of the country has trash internet. Snoopy says, you also don't own non-physical media. You long-term rent it. And if they want to change who provides that digital media you spend on is now lost. Yeah. Yeah. That's a third thing too. That just people don't think of it. She says, oh yeah, the president is 6'3", weighs 224 pounds, and is perfect 98.6 temp and excellently resting heart rate. Yep. That's what a cheeseburger a day gets you. Why I'm on track to be in super health. The most annoying thing is, like, I find shit like that hilarious, and it's amazing. All right. Netflix has renewed Devil May Cry for a second season. Only 1 week after its release. This is from Ellie Gould over at PC Gamer. Shiki says, I will not be watching that. Just because Devil May Cry, or their reasons. It's only been a week since the new Devil May Cry animated show arrived on Netflix. And what a week it's been. There's been the usual amounts of fans angry that their beloved game has been butchered. Change is hard thing to grasp. People confused about Dante's sick dance scenes. And now the announcement that the show has been renewed for a second season. Let's Dance, Netflix says. Shiki says the creator put Asmongold in it and praises him, says he talks fast, which really gives me nasty ass vibes. Oh, okay. I don't know who Asmongold is, so I'm unaffected by that information. Wondering. Oh, yeah, that guy. I don't know enough about this guy to weigh in any sort of direction whatsoever. I just see his face sometimes and I go, that's not for me. And I click somewhere else. Which is mean. And it was a thought that should have stayed in my head. Okay. Now, soon could mean just about anything. Years and years of delays have shifted my interpretation of soon from meaning months away to meaning something in the distant or not so distant future. Who knows? So while I'd like to think that this means we'll be getting the second season before the end of 2025, I'm certainly not holding out hope for a speedy return. Facts, not fast. He's nasty. Oh, talks facts. Okay, sorry, I read that wrong. He's a streamer whose house looked like a landfill. He's a massive bigot, and if someone thinks he's talking facts, I don't want to support them. That's fair. I don't know enough about it. There's that whole section of streaming that of the like the big premiere. Like if we looked at Twitch right now, any of the streams that are like, oh my god, there are 10,000 people in here. I don't even know the number. The numbers are silly. Right? I think we can just go to Twitch tracker and like a lot of them that are at the top, I'm always just like, what? This is overall. Give me. All right. Here we go. Top Twitch streamers. This is a whole world that it's like every time these names are said, I'm like, oh yeah, that one. But like, this stuff doesn't. I'm not trying to be like even like a hipstery about it. It's just like I don't fully. For me, the fun of Twitch is like, hey, like this, like we're having a conversation and like we're hanging out and doing stuff, and that like once you get up to a certain numbers point becomes impossible. And then and so I don't fully understand a lot. And all this stuff has like its own culture to it that I don't understand too, and it has its own thing. And then these people have like this like celebrity status that I don't quite get. It's I guess what makes it weird to me is that ostensibly we're doing the same thing. And like it would be weird to like play basketball and not know who Steph Curry not know who Steph Curry was, and like also be like, oh yeah, that guy. Like they have that reaction, be like, but I love playing basketball. Like that, it's weird. It's weird that this takes up so much of my life, and like that top end of it is something that's just like I'm like, oh yeah, that stuff. And every time one of them, like, like Critical Role used to be like at the very, very top here, I think. And like that I get. Like, it's a bunch of like really popular voice actors playing D&D, and like that's also not for me, but like I get it. But it's interesting. It's fine. Not everything has to be for me. I don't see him on this list though. I see his name and out. Oh, there we go. 133 on the list is Pirate Software. I know that guy. And I've liked some of his TikToks, and then I was like, maybe I would like watching one of his streams, and I was wrong. I did not. But like, I had to go deep down in that list to know, to have a name that I recognized. Yeah, so I don't know where Asmongold even fits in. Or can I confirm or deny? Maybe he's not on Twitch, though. Maybe he's one of those that got kicked off. It's like, I'm on Kick now, baby. Weird. It's a weird existence. I don't think there's anything else like that. I imagine if you're pretty into sewing, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, I spend a lot of time sewing, that you would be aware of the big names in sewing. I imagine if you were very into golf and just loved, and maybe that's because maybe there's people that just love golfing that don't, that have no idea who any professional golfers are. But it's different because they're there to like cater to like, I don't understand. Which is probably why I'm not a successful streamer, because I look at those streams and I go like, I don't want to hang out here. I don't. So like, I don't have in my head, I have the weird tooth story in my head, right? I don't have in my head the thing that goes like, all right, here's how to get millions of people watching. That does not work for me. All right. Again, I said it at the start of the stream, I got the first of the Last of Us videos up on YouTube. Please go check that out. We're up to 50 subscribers now, which is awesome. And people are excited about that Last of Us this week. It's TV's really good right now. We watched all of White Lotus. We watched all of The Pit, and then Last of Us started last night, and it was like, holy shit, like HBO's just killing it. The Pit, if you've not watched it, is absolutely incredible. Last of Us TV show, incredible. If says watch it or I'll ban you when I get back to the PC. Shiki says I'm gonna have to dodge spoilers for like Frogger dodging cars for 2 months. Are you just not gonna have HBO for 2 months? Is that the trying to think if there's a workaround, but that's I get that through Amazon. So the only way now that I can like make sure my kids can watch a streaming service at their mom's house is to get everything as an add-on to Amazon, because that's the only thing that all these she says, well, I don't have it, so I figured I'll just wait to the end and get a trial to binge. Got it. Snoopy says not having HBO is easy. I don't pay for that shit. Well, the only reason I can justify paying for it is like this idea that like, oh, and then my kids can enjoy it when they're not here, right? Um, and so then I'm not just doing. If it was just for me, I wouldn't have it, right? But like if you're at the talking for 5 people, 6 people, right? Then it's like it starts being like, yeah, this is a thing I can do, and then everybody can have it, and then we have shows to talk about or watch together or whatever. That's the thin veil of justification I can do. But now in this age of them clamping down on password sharing, which is like we're not even in the situation yet. My first kid goes to college in the fall. We're not even there yet. We're at right now. If it's just be too broke for streaming like me. But we're at the point where it's like they're just going back and forth between their house and their mom's house. And outside of the Amazon thing, like they can stay signed in on Amazon Video and all their devices and everything, and so I can pay for like HBO as an add-on, and then they can still log into it. But like I'm about to shut down Disney because it's like every 2 seconds we get logged out of everything, and then that creates a situation where I'm sharing passwords over texts and emails more frequently or a phone call, and it's just like that's dangerous. And the whole justification of it, or they don't want to bug me, so they're just like, yeah, no, I didn't want to bug you because it got signed out at mom's house, and then it's like that's my whole justification for getting these things. So it's like, sorry, starting to be like if I can't just tack it onto my Amazon, so that they can enjoy it over there, like it's not worth it. She says, I don't think they have a trial, so I might just get a month a little over halfway so I can watch the rest of it as it airs. If you do, also watch The Pit. If you can, it's a weird thing to pitch because part of what makes it so amazing is it's going back to the roots of just what used to make like really, really good TV. It is Noah Wiley of ER fame doing a medical show again. But it uses I don't know why 24 did this and no other show ever tried, but it does the 24 thing. It's a 15 episode show and it covers the guy who runs the ER's shift at the hospital, which, by the way, was supposed to end after 12 hours, but goes 15. It is so good. And it is like every episode is an hour. Like the first episode is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. It's amazing. Snoopy says this password sharing thing is difficult to understand because my streaming accounts also belong to my son, who does go between households, so he's logged in at multiple places. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Snoopy. It's so annoying. And don't get me wrong, they needed to do something because when Jeff was in his hoeing days, when I was putting my hat down on a lot of mantles, there would be so many times where like I would be over at some girl's house and some like 3 times ago dude's Netflix would be signed in, or someone that they'd be like, hey, do you want to watch something? Like, yeah. And they'd spool up the Netflix and you'd see like these names and faces come up and you're just like, there's nothing to, I could tell none of these are you. And it's and you have no idea if they were the person who got the password or if it's like a friend of a friend of a friend at that point. So like Netflix had a little bit of a problem, is what I'm saying. That I didn't quite realize until I spent a lot of time in a lot of. I was like, there's a lot of people just straight up not paying for Netflix, that just have these weird, like it happens all the time too. And like we would go and stay in like Airbnbs and stuff, and then you'd load up, and someone would sign into their personal Netflix at like an Airbnb and just leave that shit up. Cheeky said it's simple to understand. They don't want you to save money. They want an excuse to make people pay more for subscriptions because they want your money. Yeah. Snoopy says, does that also apply to my Voodoo Fandango account as well? I bought the movies. As long as I'm not gaining commercially from it, I can share it with my family members. So far, so good on that. I've been a little worried since they changed it to Fandango. But yeah, it's like my password to that is not anything near anything even in sniffing distance to any of my regular passwords, because I that's how I justify buying movies on that what used to be Voodoo and was a much better name, and it's gone through all these different iterations. It was owned by Walmart for a while. Now it's owned by Fandango, and they've changed it to Fandango at Home. And I still share that thing pretty liberally, and it doesn't seem to have the same problems that other things. And it makes sense that it doesn't, because they're making the money from like people actually making purchases. So they don't need to go like, oh man, we need another slew of income for the next quarter. What are we going to do? You know, they're just going to sell more movies. The best thing about Fandango and Voodoo is that like it is the best of both worlds. Sam is back. Hello. Welcome back, Sam. So like what movie was it? Because I texted so many people about it when I found it, and now I don't even remember. Oh, Talk to Me, which is one of the best horror movies that came out in the last handful of years. Talk to Me is so good. One of my favorites, right? Sam says that one. Yeah. You can go right now, walk into Walmart, say hi to the greeter at the front. Please say hi to them. I know they're aggressive, but that's their job. I don't like it either, but they're a human being. Say hi to the greeter. Walk to the electronics department, and either in the 750 bins or on the shelf of some of them, there is a Blu-ray plus digital of Talk to Me, which is one of the best horror movies that's happened in the last couple of years. For $7.50. So you get the physical movie and you get the code for the digital. So you buy the movie, you put it on your shelf, you take the code, you put it in, and then you have that digital that you can access wherever. You don't have to bring all your movies with you. Your kids can watch the movie when they're at another house, right? You have the best of both worlds, and you only paid $7.50 for it. It's amazing. Shiki says, oh shit, yeah, I still need to watch it. You can now watch it for $7.50 and then own it in multiple ways. It's amazing. Snoopy says, once they changed it to Fandango, they also changed the wording. Before you were buying movies and could even download them. Now you can't download them, and they updated the terms to you're now leasing the movie. I have over 400 selections on Vudu, and I think over 500 movies because I buy the bundles. Yeah, I have... I don't know how much I have at this point. I have a lot. I don't think I have 500, but yeah, I like... Their bundles have not been as cheap as they were in the Walmart era, though. My library, my movies. I have 362 movies on here. So I'm not far off. She says they will get in trouble if they're not aggressive. Just say hi and be nice. Yes. Just a few, right? She says, wait, do they not have a $5 bin anymore? They have a $5 bin and a $7.50 bin. I used to dig through the $5 bins. Jesus, yeah, the $5 bin. They have both. The $5 bin is less likely to have Blu-ray. There are some Blu-rays in them, but it's more often DVDs. And then the $7.50 bin is you still get both, but it's more often Blu-rays than the DVDs. And it's like you have to watch for the deals. And anytime you can get a very good movie and the digital all in one package for $7.50, that's solid. And you could probably do that on Walmart.com too. Let me see if they have it listed on Walmart. But by the way, this is also a good strategy for buying used. If you can get used stuff out there and it has the codes still, which quite often is the case. I have probably about 50 to 100 of my 362 movies I have from buying movies at Goodwill and checking to see if the codes still work, and they did. And in a lot of cases, I then sold the movie because I'm like, I don't need to own this movie. It is indeed on here. It's the third option. Is the Talk to Me Blu-ray plus digital copy Walmart exclusive. Right here. For $7.50. So you don't even have to walk into Walmart and talk to the greeter. And that'll give you the movie you can watch. And then the code. And then if I know that you're a Fandango person, you then go on my list. And then when I buy a cool steelbook and I already own the digital code because a movie like Talk to Me, I tend to be like, I want to support movies like that existing. So if I have the cash, I will spend it on the digital. If I can't go see it in theaters, I will do that digital early release thing, right? So if I get the Talk to Me steelbook, which hopefully I will at some point, and it has a digital code in it, then that's a movie that I don't need. Right? Because it's already on my Vudu. And then I have a spreadsheet with people that then I go hey, do you have this movie? Hey, do you have which Snoopy's now going to be on? And I go down the list. And if someone doesn't have the movie, then I'm like, here's a code for it, because I don't need a second copy of that movie. Snoopy says, I got the Lord of the Rings movies that show at one title C selection, but it's 6 movies extend, of course. But I have a ton of movies. I don't know how bad it was, but when Family Video was a thing, every once in a while, I might find a digital code that happened to fall out of their display, and that code would get checked by me, and I would own it. Yeah. Well, I had a buddy who used to work in a Meijer pharmacy, and he would just, on his breaks, he would go down to and Meijer doesn't even have movies and DVDs anymore, right? But he would go and he would check all the new releases, check the ones that there are multiple copies of, take a picture of them, specifically the ones that had the digital release packed into them, right? And then he would go online and he would list them on eBay, basically the price you could get them everywhere else. And when they would sell, he would take that money and he would go buy the movie with his Meyer discount. So he made a little bit, made a buck or two, made some coffee money, right? And then take the code and send off the disc. And then he had a free movie. And that guy had like thousands in his voodoo collection. It was wild. And you would go over there and you'd be like, why do you own like 50 Shades Freed? Like, he didn't own any other of the other 50 Shades of Grey movies. He's like, I don't know, someone bought it. Like, she says so many movies. Yeah, but to me, that's a more sustainable thing than paying for all these different streaming services. And like, I hate it. I hate it here. I hate the streaming landscape so much. I think it was Sam earlier that said streaming is so expensive. It is. It's so expensive and terrible and not sustainable. It's the absolute worst. And yes, it does suck that as Fandango now owns Vudu, it's going through all these like weird changes, and it isn't what it was. Their deals aren't quite what they are either, but it used to be. And they push a lot more free movies now, it feels like. In the Walmart era, it was... All right. Let's look at their deals section. Let's see what deals... So, like... $5 for some of this stuff, and then you always have it. I don't think that's bad. Like, I would say, for your best case scenario, right, is not to spend $5 on this, but to find there's somewhere out there where around $5 you can get a physical copy with a code for something like this, and then you have digital access that you can get in from everywhere, right? But what the fuck is a Disney? The amount of people I know that send Disney Plus unfathomable dollars a month just so that they have access to this kind of stuff. And it's just, if you just buy it outright, you do. And then as Snoopy was saying, the bundle, the deals, the real ones are like the bundles when they do the bundles. Yeah, bundle and save. Okay. And they're not as good as they used to be. They are not. But like, to have almost every indie, see, in the old days, this would have been like $20, 15. But still, I will know people that will like spend $300 in a Disney Plus subscription. They're like, well, I want to be able to watch every Indiana Jones movie whenever I want. I already own this bundle of every Friday the 13th movie. So I can't see the price for it. But I'm sure that's Hellraiser. Do I own those yet? Yeah, I do. The problem here too is I can't see the prices because I own these bundles. Stephen King 8 movie collection. Let's go. $20. And you have access to these forever, and theoretically forever, right? They could take it away. But it is demonstrably better than paying $20 for a subscription to a service in which at the end of the $20 you get nothing, unless what you really want is that buffet. You want that buffet to be like that. That's what you get out of a subscription. Shiki says, I think that I have that on DVD. Friday the 13th, not Hellraiser. Snoopy says they'll have deals that are pick 3 for $15, and you can still pick some decent stuff, but they used to be better. Yeah. So I'd say, like, I try to, as much as possible, encourage people to, like, get rid of the streaming services and go to some sort of purchasing instead, because even if you're doing digital purchasing, it's not as good as doing physical, but it's still better than doing a streaming service. But some people have gotten so addicted to not getting up and putting a disc in a thing to play a movie, and that's become somewhat of a non-starter for them. The convenience of a of streaming is something they need. Trying to see if there's any of these bundles that I'm like, that Snoopy's right. They used to be undeniable. Like, it used to be like the Indiana Jones one would be like 10 or 15, but you'd be like, why would they used to just be like stupid? That kind of thing where you're almost mad at them of like, I can't not give you my money for that. Like, they have Dune 1 and 2 for $15. Like, that's fine. There's also like these fan store things. Like, this is all new. This fan store shit at the, I don't like this. Please no. I need another company to buy this. I need it to get away from Fandango. Stevie says I got the 6 Lord of the Rings movies for $20. Yeah, it was always just undeniable. Like, the kind of sales I like running where people are like, God damn it, chat. Like, like, I guess like, I didn't want to spend any money, but I can't not get that. Here we go. Here's the bundle for Sam and Cheeky, even though this would never get Sam. But here you go. $12.99 for the Final Fantasy triple feature. So you can watch Final Fantasy Spirits Within, which, according to Life is Strange's Max Caulfield, very, very fun film. Very great film. I saw it in the movie theater. It's Snoopy says I got that bundle. Final Fantasy 7 and Kingslave Final Fantasy 15 for $12.99. And then you have access for those 3 movies as long as Fandango exists. Snoopy says I like the FF15 movie too. I've not seen it. She says, and watch the anime they made. Someone sent me a link to the whole anime on YouTube. Oh, nice. Are you saying the OG Final Fantasy anime? Like, way back in the, like, around the time, like, 4 was coming out? Spirits Within is so, I don't know that I can codify the experience that was, oh, they made a Final Fantasy 15 anime. Okay. Again, it's a weird thing. I'm going to be 38 in 2 days. And around the time that 7, 8, and 9 were coming out, it was so weird. Everybody was into Final Fantasy. And when I mean everybody, I mean the jocks at school were like, well, yeah, I have to have the best looking like, of course I'm sitting around playing Final Fantasy 7. That was the world that existed while those games were coming out. It was very strange, but it was. And when that movie was coming in 2001, I was 14. It was like people went into that like it was Avengers Endgame and then saw Final Fantasy the Spirits. If they would have done like Final Fantasy VII Advent Children first, if they would have done that at 2001, I wonder what world we would be living in right now, because the world was ready for something like that. And I was in an absolutely packed theater where it got a theatrical release. Like, even that is like hard to understand and explain, right? Like, that the Final Fantasy movie got a theatrical release, which is just unfathomable now. But that I was sitting in a packed theater and you could hear a pin drop as nobody got what they thought they were going to get out of that movie. Not a single person did. It was just it was all right. Box office. Before the film's release, there was already skepticism of its potential to be financially successful. Chris Taylor from Time magazine noted that the video game adaptations had a poor track record at the box office. It's so funny to read that sentence while the Minecraft movie is the biggest thing in the world, on the heels of the Mario movie being the biggest thing in the world. The film debuted on July 2nd, 2001 in the Man Bruins Theater in Los Angeles, California, and was released in the United States on July 11th, where it made $11.4 million during its opening weekend, ranking 4th place behind Legally Blonde, The Score, and Cats and Dogs. Was that Legally Blonde's release weekend? In Back for Making Ramen, Final Fantasy 15 mentioned what's going on. We talked about The Last of Us, which made us talk about HBO, which made us talk about subscriptions, which made us talk about buying movies instead of getting subscriptions, which made us look at bundles that are available to buy on Vudu, because I was pitching how buying things on Vudu, which is now Fandango, is better than paying subscriptions fees and not getting anything, and that physical is the best, but like that's better than anything. And there was a Final Fantasy bundle, which now led us to looking and talking about, this is the Final Fantasy bundle. You get all 3 movies for $13. That was scary. You took Kellen to watch the Minecraft movie. It was okay. It wasn't the most exciting release of our times. People did, at the chicken jockey scene, the theater didn't go, "Wah!" And the people had to kick people out of the theater because everyone's going to the theaters and doing the chicken jockey meme. I didn't do the story today. Like, that movie's making so much money. It had another just fucking amazing weekend, which makes me both happy because I like movie theaters and like movies, but both sad because like there's something inherently kind of artless to corporate film right now. Snoopy said a bunch of high school girls got kicked out when we were watching it. For the chicken jockey thing, or just in general? Shiki says, I'm glad it's dying down because those people need to be banned from theaters for doing the shit they're doing. Yeah, especially for like if it's true at all, who knows? I think it was like I still think it's a co-op or not co-opt. What is Not co-op, not coerce. Secret. What's the word for secret? A secret marketing ploy. Sam says, I'm happy for the fans, but it makes me sad because Minecraft has become so antithetical to its start. Like, it's so cool what one guy could do on his own without corporate money, and now it's sold out and being all corpy. Covert money ups. Yeah. Snoopy said the chicken jockey. Oh, so they got kicked out for the chicken jockey. That generation, it's so easy. It's so easy to get their money. And it's always in this, like, you want to be defined and cool, right? And they're like, yeah, like, you should buy a ticket to this corporation's thing and then do a meme and take a video of it. Like, okay. And all it takes is they do, like, a couple videos of, like, here's all these people in suits getting kicked out of Minion movies, and then all of a sudden, that generation that can't be told what to do, they're all showing up to watch the Minions movies in suits. They're all showing up to do chicken jockey. They're filling the... oh, my God. She said there was a video of someone legit bringing a live chicken into the theater, throwing it, and then leaving it in a box on someone's lawn. Well, that's gross. They said it's always so easy to get this money, says the man waiting for a game he can't play or read. That is fair. No, my money is very easy to get. That has never been a problem. It's why I'm always like I'm looking at the Switch 2 and I'm like, I am the biggest slut for things like this. I am the whore that is like, oh, you're releasing a game console? Right this way to my boudoir. All of me belongs to you. That is me when it comes to most game console releases. And when you have me looking at that thing going like, I don't know, guys. You done fucked up. But like the weird thing is like watching the world kind of just move on, and it's fine because it's like they have their people that are going to spend money on that thing, and I'm not the person that they need to take the money from anymore. Then that's fine. Cheeky says, you've met Cecil the silly sausage. Meet Jeff the silly slut. You have met him. He talks in microphones a lot. Yeah, Final Fantasy Spirits Within is that's a real sliding doors question. If they would have done something more like Advent Children when Spirits Within came out, I think we would live in a very different world right now. They were so high on their own supply that they honestly thought that they could just make a movie and not have it really to do with anything Final Fantasy or really feel like anything Final. Whoa. Getting real glitchy all of a sudden. And they thought that would just be fine. The Matrix. Yeah, I'm starting to talk about. I started to expose how they make money off of Gen Z, and they're shutting me down. Blue or red, Jeff. Right. But if they would have just done a movie that the kind of thing, if it would have even vaguely felt like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 at the time, it would have been insane, and we would be living in such a different world right now. It's kind of crazy to think about. And instead they put out The Spirits Within which is I've not watched. I don't think I've watched it since I sat there in theaters. So I was 14. I remember being bored. I remember being so bored during it. And she said, I forgot we were talking about Final Fantasy for a second. Yeah. The Wikipedia page for Spirits Within shows off that Maxim featured the main character in their Hot 100 list. And I hate everything now. Like, why is this on the main Wikipedia page? Why did that happen in the first place? Why is that on the Wikipedia page? Aki's appearance was received positively by critics. Maxim featured Aki in their Hot 100 list, resulted in increased media attention towards the character. Okay. That's enough internet for today. But yeah, all this started with me saying, hey, there's a new YouTube video up. You can watch the first bits of Selena playing Last of Us Part 2. Sam has the best joke in it, by far. There's like, I don't often like highlight and include the chat. And well, we don't show the chat on screen anymore. But when I was editing that last night, I had to do it in a way that Sam's comment hitting would just hit the shot perfectly because it was very good. Shiki says, of course, she was received positively. The only women they see are in video games. Also, Whatnot. We have started doing live sales on Whatnot every Saturday night. So if you want more of us, if you want to hang out, while we talk into microphones more, that's we're there, Celine and I, every Saturday night, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Done the last couple of weeks. Despite dental surgery and stuff, it's been a solid time. If you follow that link, they will give you $15 free to buy from us or other people. If you want to just, do what I do and Whatnot and buy Final Fantasy 3 Famicom games that are in a language you can't speak, you can do that on there too. And if you follow that link and then spend money on there, they give us a kickback. But it's not money, it's credit, and that's how Jeff does things like buy Final Fantasy games. So, there you go. So they charge you shipping. So like if you don't want to buy stuff from us, you can follow that link and then you can go like buy a retro video game you need or want or anything. There's like Shiki, you could sell your stuff on there. There's like people that are just doing like, hey, here's cool shit I made. Whatnot's pretty neat. I like it a lot. What my favorite thing about Whatnot over things like eBay and stuff is that they completely handle all the shipping. Jeff, I am sorry. What are you sorry about? Confused. But they handle all the. I thought I was subscribed. You're at 51 now. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, they responded. I need to make a command for you still. I think Sam's got one about modding. Yeah. I could always sneak you into that one. But yeah, and Whatnot, they'll give you 15 free bucks to buy something somewhere, and if you do, they'll give us $5 for the referral. It's neat. And we're on there every Wednesday night. And then with YouTube, yeah, you can go be the 52nd subscriber now that Shiki's 51. And I'm going to be getting Last of Us stuff up there. And then tomorrow night, Tuesday night, will be my Twitch birthday stream. So come hang out for that. My birthday's Wednesday, but I do all comic stuff on Wednesday. And then we'll be live tomorrow morning with more Dork Dick Daily. And I'm going to be back here today at 3 o'clock. Steve said I already used the free money. Oh, I subscribed a long time ago. Yes. Yeah, that was in our first round of trying to. It's a lot nicer now. A lot of the complaints we had about it before are gone. They fixed them all. So I'm like, that's okay. We can go back to this. We have raid messages. They look like this. And this. And let me make sure I copy it. We should be theoretically rating Sam. Make sure that is indeed a option. Sam is raising money for a very important charity. He is playing the video for the charity thing right now. Please, normally it's like raid stuff is like, hey, just go, hang out, raid and run, do whatever. Please be kind to our friends. Bail beforehand if you want to or need to. Because the charity stuff, if you can leave things a lurkin, please do. That's always helpful if you're not in a position to give money, which a lot of us are not right now. That stuff all helps. Appreciate you all. We're gonna go say hi to Sam. Please be kind to our friends and be honest, be kind, be useful. Live a good fucking life. I will see you today at 3 o'clock for more Final Fantasy. Bye.